Hello everybody. Today we've got Luke Doulton with us. Thank you for joining us today and for allowing us to ask you questions regarding your business. So to begin with, we've got some quick fire questions for you. Tea or coffee?
I'm an opportunist, Rachel, so it's whatever's going, which is typically coffee in the office, tea at home. I've got a family of tea fiends. So.
Yeah, that makes two of us then. Coffee over the tea. Cats or dogs?
Oh, I prefer dogs overall, but I love all animals.
And would you go with an activity holiday or something more relaxed?
That depends on the time of year. It's either one end of the spectrum or the other. I either do absolutely nothing, which I've done recently in Cornwall, where there was a beach, one pub and a cottage, or I will go on the adventurous type. So I went to Ibiza last year. That was pretty adventurous.
No, that's great, Luke. Thanks for that. Right, so now let's move on to finding out a little bit more about your business. What is the name of your business?
The business is called Free Range Web. It's it clues in the name really to a degree. It's a web development company. We focus on database-driven websites so that people can manage their own content and yeah. Okay.
How long have you been doing this?
I'm fairly new to this industry. So me and Dan both took this company on in January 2018. So it's about a year and a half now.
Okay, so what other jobs have you done?
My first job was actually an estate agent, which was great. I loved it, to be honest with you. But it was a bit commission impossible. So I ended up going into recruitment, which was a great experience. And, you know, I kind of fell into IT via recruitment because I did IT recruitment. I got to work with lots of big FTSE 100 companies who were sort of doing all sorts of digital transformation and innovation in the digital space, and it gave me a good sort of blueprint of what was going on in that industry. So I found myself going towards technology.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Great. So actually, let's get you to tell us more a bit about your business and how it could help our members.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, the first thing, obviously, being online is kind of a necessity nowadays, it seems. And obviously you've got the options of being able to sell your products and things like that. But just for credibility alone, if someone can find you online, it's going to help. So the two things that we've noticed with building websites is that, number one, people don't necessarily understand them or know how to use them or know how to update them. So we only build database-driven websites that have no coding requirements, and we always provide training for any website that we build, specific to that setup that client has. And the other thing is the cost. We find that people find it quite difficult to commit to the costs without seeing an immediate return, which is why we spread the costs throughout the year. So generally you can get online very quickly without having to spend a great deal of money. And that we find really, really helps, especially small businesses sort of get their name out there, which is really important. But the real differentiator for me is the fact that that's really just the beginning of our work. We look at the entire digital footprint of the company. So what content you have, how that's affecting your ranking. Is that what your customers are actually looking for? And is that terminology realistically achievable for you to rank? So we look at not just building the websites, it's why you want a website in the first place, and building it to tailor to accommodate that. So yeah.
So you said about so that they can go on and maintain it themselves. Is that anybody can do that? Is it quite straightforward with the training that you do?
Well, what we've done is we offer a maintenance package which covers some of the more intricate things that people probably would either not want to do or would be inefficient for them to learn.
Yeah.
But what, you know, so the biggest problem is someone will want to add a photo or they want to change some text, and then they'll have to basically pass that information to a developer who will then upload that, might not upload it in the way that they wanted. And there's lots of toing and froing, and you're paying the whole time for that process. Where if we do a detailed training session where we record the training session and we highlight the bits that you're going to need to do based on your business and what we know you're looking to do throughout the year, that should kind of make it bulletproof, that you know that you're only going to pay a certain amount. I mean, if you want to change a photo, you know how to do it. If you've forgotten how to change a photo, you can go on the video and look at the training session that we did. So it kind of guarantees what the cost is going to be, which in IT is often a bit of an open check to a lot of people.
Yes, yeah, I can well imagine on that.
Yeah.
So that's what actually helps to keep the costs down then, by getting it set up and running, and then they can just do all the little tweaks themselves unless there's some major changes that they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the maintenance package, we do have sort of a discounted sort of ad hoc development work that we can do, again, which just kind of makes it easier to manage your costs. But
yes.
Our aim is to make it so you don't need us to do that.
No. Okay. And do you, so with that, when you're talking about maybe something like myself as a small business might be wanting that kind of stuff, but can you do the larger scale ones as well?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we've, you know, obviously because we're a small agency, we haven't really got a huge portfolio of big companies, but ultimately the criteria to building a website is generally the same.
Yeah.
You're either looking at it for credibility, you're either looking at it to generate leads, or both. And as long as you have a process that captures the end goals of your customer, the industry kind of becomes irrelevant to us, because we don't promote expertise in the industries that we help. We give them the digital platform to maximize their expertise. So yeah, I think that's the best way to answer that.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask this actually, because I've always been quite intrigued. Why the chicken?
I think originally, well, so me and Dan actually inherited this company really in 2018, and so it's actually been going since 2012. But the original owners came up with the name Free Range Web, which is off the back of probably, I'm guessing, free range eggs, and just went with the chicken. And I think people can overthink the logo sometimes, but the fact that there's some relevance with the chicken and the name, even though that's really, really subtle, psychologically people it is a small anchor to remember who we are. So I think that was the theory behind it. But it wasn't us, so if it works, we can't even take any credit for it.
I love it. I love the little different colours and that, so I just thought I'm gonna have to ask the question.
No,
thanks, Luke, thanks for giving us an insight into what you do. So I've got a couple more questions for you. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Depends how far back we go, but if we're talking sort of my teens, I was in a band, so I just wanted to be a rock star. I did a couple of bands where we didn't, I'm not going to pretend we got big, because we didn't, but we did a couple of big gigs and I really enjoyed that. And I remember, I've got photo evidence of this, of all three of us on this massive stage in Cheltenham, with our guitars behind our heads doing a solo sort of thing. And that was my life, and that was where I saw myself going, was being a competitor of AC/DC.
And at what point did you realise that wasn't going to happen?
Well, for a starter, I can't sing, and I think that's a requirement, really. So we never found someone to kind of fill that gap. But no. Life takes over as well a bit.
Sure.
So you never know. I might revisit it.
Oh, well, yes, we will. Okay, well, keep us informed on that one. What about hobbies? Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
Well, obviously playing guitar. I don't do enough of it at the moment, but I do still play the guitar. And I know it sounds sad, but my whole hobby has been work, in the sense that I set up a business before Free Range Web that sort of plodded along, and I wanted to focus solely on work, so I haven't really I've been pretty boring. My hobby is Free Range Web at the moment.
So, oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, I need to get a life. Maybe I should join a band.
Yeah, maybe you should do that. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, you never know. After this interview, there may be a few people who make contact and said, "Well, we're looking for a guitarist."
Spread the word. If they want to interview me as well, they're more than welcome.
Thank you again, Luke, for coming along today and helping us to understand more about your business. It's been great having you here.
No problem. No, thank you. I've watched all the other ones. I think it's a great way for people in the chamber to sort of find out a little bit more about each other, and hope that it keeps going.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks a lot.